Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world, and today you are going to learn how to plot linear graphs. So please note, linear just means straight line. But they're slightly different from what we've done in the past couple of lessons. So I'm just going to show you here the graph that we used last lesson. So this was a distance time graph, and you can see that it's made up of many different straight lines. But the graphs that we're looking at today will just be one straight line like that, so they're a bit easier to do. Okay, so how are you going to do this? What I'm going to do is give you an equation, and you're going to need to graph the line that has that equation. So an equation, remember, is just anything that has an equal sign. So if I say y equals 2x plus 1, for example, so that's an equation. Now the y and the x have the same meaning that they've always had when we've been looking at the Cartesian plane. So y is the vertical axis, how far the graph goes up, and x is the horizontal axis, how far the graph goes along left to right. So how are we going to graph something like this? Well, what we need to do is draw up a table of values. So a table of values looks like this that I've just put on the screen. So it's a table, and you have some x values and y values. Now, important thing is that you choose the x values, then substitute them. So you decide for yourself how many you want. I usually go around about 5. I choose 5 different x values, then I find out the corresponding y values by substituting into the formula, and then I just plot those points. Okay, so let's do it. So I'm going to choose a couple of negative and some positives. So I'm going to start x is minus 2, then minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I chose these numbers, okay? It didn't have to be these numbers, but I wanted to get some negative and some positive ones, okay? So I haven't actually figured anything out yet. So to find the corresponding y values, I substitute into the equation, and you can use your calculator. So y equals 2x plus 1 is the equation. So if x equals minus 2, then y will just be 2 times x, which is now minus 2, plus 1, okay? And if you put that on your calculator, you should get the answer minus 3. So when x is minus 2, y is minus 3, okay? So this is just substitution. We actually did this last term. Okay, we go through and we do the lot. We do all the points. So if I sub in x is minus 1, then y is 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2, plus 1. And I get y is negative 1 also. Okay, if I sub in x is 0, I get y equals 2 times 0, which is 0, plus 1 is 1. You can use your calculator for this. If x is 1, again I'm subbing into this equation here, y is 2 times 1, which is 2, plus 1, which is 3. Okay, now you can probably see a pattern emerging, and you may have been able to see it before I did that one. So each time the y value is going up by 2, that's no coincidence. That's because this number, the coefficient, as we learned last term, is 2. So I'm just going to write in the other one, following the pattern, okay? What's important to note is that each of these columns, so there's one here, they're all points. So this column here is the point minus 2, minus 3. X is minus 2, y is minus 3. This one here is a different point, minus 1, minus 1. So all we do is draw up our axes and plot those points. So let's draw up our axes as you've seen them before. Okay, so we draw up our x and y axis, and I've labelled them here as well. So then what we do is we just go one by one and plot those points. So remember, x is how far we go across. So I go across to x is minus 2, which is there. And then I go down to y is minus 3. So I go down 1, 2, 3. You can count them, okay? Sorry about the labelling, okay? So that point that I've put there in red is minus 2, minus 3. So now I'm going to do the same. Plot x is minus 1, y is minus 1. Okay, so I've just added another red dot. So the next one will be x is 0, y is 1. Then I go x is 1, y is 3, and so on. And you should see that these points that I've plotted lie in a straight line. I'm not even going to worry about plotting 2, 5, 3, 7, 4, 9, because I already know what the line's going to look like. So now all I have to do, now that I've got these points plotted, all I have to do is draw the line. Okay, so to make it neater, I'm just going to give you a picture that I prepared earlier. Okay, so here is the graph of y equals 2x plus 1. Okay, now usually what you do is you have to put arrows on the end to show that the line goes on forever. Sometimes you'll see people write the equation along the line here, y equals 2x plus 1, but I'm really not fussed, okay? So that's all there is to it. Just create a table of values and plot some points, join them up, and you have the graph of a line. If you have any questions, please ask your wonderful teacher. Other than that, this has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a wonderful day.